parasites are not inherently something that's gross, meaning the parasite itself is, but you don't have to be like a filthy person or
No.
at least I do. And if you're not in this world, you have it in your head like, oh, you've got a parasite. That means you either like went to Mexico and drank the water,
Or you lick poop.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a poop licker.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
something gross. You don't clean your house.
Yeah.
and it's not that at all.
No.
Everybody has parasites.
Yes, they do. And some are good, actually, and some not so good.
So I just think it's important to go into this, if you're listening to this for the first time or again after a while, to remember you don't have to like deny that you have parasites because I'm not a gross person. It's important to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about where you can.
Welcome to Elevated Life, Real Wellness and Transformation Podcast, where we walk alongside the internally driven individual as they transform their life through wellness, movement, mindset, and personal responsibility. If that's you, you're in the right place. Let's jump in.
Just like that. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite topics. Parasites. And everyone just went, oh, Johnna's going to get on a soapbox. Yes, I am. We need to revisit this. This is a thing. It's parasite cleansing season. We are currently on a parasite cleanse, moving into a different kind of parasite cleanse that we're going to be doing during the March worm moon, which is the day that we record this is in like a week and a half.
Oh.
Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So it's time to get on it.
Yeah. Preparation for the tincture. So the reason why we're talking about parasites is because in my world, they're everywhere, meaning in the natural holistic healing, awakened, not believing mainstream anything world. Did you just roll your eyes at me?
No,
yes,
I'm just
you did,
blinking.
motherfucker. Yeah, you did.
I would not do that.
Parasites are everywhere.
They
and so I want to get into it again. Here's how you know if you... Okay, what?
Can I, before we get into it, it's important to set the tone. If you've listened to our parasite stuff before, you're going to be familiar with a lot of this stuff and what I'm about to say. If you haven't, though, and if you have, it's a great reminder. Parasites are not inherently something that's gross, meaning the parasite itself is, but you don't have to be like a filthy person or
No.
At least I do. And if you're not in this world, you have it in your head like, oh, you've got a parasite. That means you either like went to Mexico and drank the water,
Or you lick poop.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a poop licker.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
something gross. You don't clean your house.
Yeah.
and it's not that at all.
No.
Everybody has parasites.
Yes, they do. And some are good, actually, and some not so good.
So I just think it's important to go into this, if you're listening to this for the first time or again after a while, to remember you don't have to like deny that you have parasites because I'm not a gross person. It's important to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about where you can pick up parasites from your animals. Okay, this is where we live. This is a big thing because what I always hear is, I don't have parasites. I'm clean, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do you have a cat that shits in your house? Do you have a dog that you kiss? Do you work with farm animals? You worm them.
Right.
How come you're not worming yourself?
Yeah.
Like it sheds off of their body. The other places you can pick it up are just everyday life in the dirt. If you dig in the dirt, if you use a public restroom, if you have sex. I mean, honestly, these things are transmitted in all the ways, right? Even bug bites, larvae getting into the skin, then getting into the body, right? Like you just pick them up. If you swim in lakes, rivers, oceans, streams, maybe not so much the ocean, because of the salt. I'm going to have to do a deeper dive into that. I don't want to toss the ocean under the bus at all. It's all healing. But anyway, these are ways that you can pick up parasites, and how they manifest is in headaches, skin rashes, gluten intolerance, Crohn's, any kind of bowel issues at all. The big C, right? That's a parasite. It just is. And literally any ailment you can link back to parasites. And I'm not the only one that says this. I've been studying parasites for about a decade now, and just researching under doctors who have been completely shut down by the mainstream, exiled to out of the country, one of them in particular, and learning about what they do in the body. And once you can eradicate them and create homeostasis in the body, your body will naturally eliminate them. However, it takes a lot of work. Not just the thing about parasites and having the friendly environment for them. This is completely holistic. So if you haven't dealt with your trauma, if you're holding on to fear and anger, that affects certain organs. And then because you have a weakened sense of your aura, parasites stay. That's just what they do. And so twice a year, we didn't do it this last fall. We usually do a parasite cleanse. And we made a protocol. And it's funny because I was thinking before this podcast about, the days where we just used to sit and pen when we penned out the protocol.
Yeah.
Pages and pages. And Clint's asking me all these questions like, okay, and then what do you do? And then what do you do? And it was really grassroots. And a labor of love.
It was.
An absolute labor of love. Like when that first iteration of the parasite protocol came out, I was just like, this is a masterpiece. Little did I know that I was going to learn more, right? And so we've updated it several times to get more information out to the population. In my opinion, every human on the planet needs to do parasite cleansing. That's just what it is. And if you haven't, then you for sure have infestation. I mean, even depression, anxiety, insomnia, negative thoughts. I mean, you want to talk about a rabbit hole. When you start to research what parasites are, that they're ancient, they have been on this planet for longer than we have. And they are smart, and they hide in your body, and they talk to you, and it just gets really crazy, right? In my world, completely normal. So.
Hey friends, if you're getting something out of this, connect with us on our social media platforms. We're at CJElevatedLife_ on Instagram and TikTok, and CJ Elevated Life on Facebook and X. We're answering DMs, sharing daily content, and building community with people ready for real transformation. For now, hit subscribe wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We drop 2 new episodes every week. And if this episode resonates, share it. That's how we reach more people who are ready for change. You can also find everything at cjelevatedlife.com. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I think you touched on a couple things there that are worth digging into. The fact that they've been around forever. Literally, for humans, parasites have been around forever.
Yeah, they're smart.
And they're a thing that have always been dealt with. So if you go back and read ancient texts, and you look at even stuff that you consider mainstream, why did certain groups eat or not interact with certain animals? Yeah, they're full of parasites. And way back in the day, it was maybe a little more difficult to get rid of parasites. So it was,
that's when you had your shamans and your healers, that the Rockefellers, 86.
That's where I'm getting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to jump in there and toss the Rockefellers under the bus anytime.
So there's but you kind of touched on something there with the shaman and the healers that can instantly, it's easy to think, oh, that's just woo. That's just whatever that is.
Yeah, I think, who thinks that anymore?
Well, I think a lot of people do.
Well, I don't know.
But if you look at, I think one of the fascinating things, and where I'm kind of going with this story, is as we were penning things out and then updating and doing new iterations of the protocol, we stumbled on one of the, I guess you would call it not woo, solutions that has been around for a long, long time, was turpentine.
Right, yeah.
Which...
Pine spirits, not the turpentine you get at the hardware store. And I am not a doctor, whatever that whole thing is.
Yeah.
Don't.
I was just going to say that. We are not advocating you drink turpentine.
Yeah.
Even though I've done that.
Yeah.
But, so we were researching this, and I was talking to my parents about it, who are a little bit older. And my mom said, oh, yeah. Her mom, so my grandma, talked about this thing, and then my dad also had this thing where when the kids, twice a year basically, I think the big one was fall, when they came back to school, they would get a sugar cube covered with turpentine, just a little bit of turpentine, and they never knew, nobody asked questions, or like, I don't know, the teacher told me to eat it. My dad didn't know what it was for. But it was for that. It was for the parasites that they picked up.
And he went to school in Havila, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was happening locally.
Right. And my grandma went to school in Riverside, Tunk area.
Okay.
So yeah, a local thing. But it was at some point just passed down knowledge.
Yep.
That we have these things, and there's a lot of different ways to handle them, a lot of different ways to get rid of them. And every culture had their own version of that. And so there wasn't anything necessarily right or wrong. It was just, well, we know we do this because these are these things that we have. And then all of a sudden, cue the Rockefellers,
right? And then all of a sudden that's woo.
Yeah.
But it wasn't woo, gosh, what, 80 years ago now? I don't know.
80 years ago to the dawn of man.
Yeah,
back.
Exactly. Not weird to cleanse with parasites. And so I remember you telling me the story about your parents, and they would do that cleanse the same time that they would deworm their animals. Mm-hmm. It seems like logical in my mind. Like, okay, we're getting rid of all the worms at this point. The reason why I cleanse in the fall, or we cleanse in the fall, is because we've been in all the water, we've dug in the dirt, we've been outside in our bare feet, we travel a lot, we've gone to restrooms, we're doing all the things. Time for a cleanse, right? In the spring, it's more of like, in my mind, I'm cleaning up the leftover residual from fall and just new beginnings, right? New beginnings in all the ways happen in spring, and so I'm doing it in the spring as well. This year, because we didn't do one in the fall, I'm doing back-to-back parasite cleanses because I noticed that I had, a pinworm invasion. Yes, that's been the biggest thing that has passed in this protocol that I'm doing currently, which is we're using Fenben right now. Fenben and food, because there are foods that kill parasites, right? But trying to really penetrate the biofilm. So what parasites like to do, which is why you have to do a pretty intense invasive cleanse, herbal cleanse. And I don't believe that Fenben and ivermectin deal with this issue, getting through the biofilm, because these are smart things. So they like to create a cocoon. And that's what black walnut hull and clove, they penetrate that biofilm. And so that's what we're doing the herbal with the worm moon, basically. And that's happening soon. So, yeah, pinworm invasion in Johnna. And yes, I've passed worms. And yes, I've walked people through that have passed worms. And yes, it's freaky. And no, I don't feel weird telling people, because I think it's weird that you think you don't have worms. So there's basically that. So what we did is we put together a protocol because there's so many cleanses out there. And I would say 99% of them are pretty good. They are. They have those key components, those key herbs in them that penetrate the biofilm that also get parasites at every stage. So one of the things about ivermectin and fenben is they don't get parasites at every stage, right? And that's what the herbs do in herbal cleanses.
Yeah, I would just interject. The fenben and the ivermectin are more things like, oh, you've got an active, something's going on that's severely debilitating you or noticeably debilitating you. So we need to deal with this right now with this, whatever.
More like an infestation.
Thank you. Yeah. I was going to say it's like an emergency. Not quite an emergency, but it's more of a very active infestation.
Yeah, and
versus the whole cycle.
Yes. I feel like it's milder because when you're dealing with die-off symptoms from adult parasites to teenage parasites to eggs and all of that gets dumped into your system, your eliminary organs, right? And so that creates a lot of problems, right? So what this protocol does, depending on where you are with your nutrition and how your liver and kidneys and digestive system function and lymphatic system function currently, it depends on if your prep is going to be 6 weeks or if your prep is going to be a week, right? We don't have to do a shit ton of prep because our eliminary organs are functioning, right? They're moving. We're moving lymph. Our liver is in a good situation. Our kidneys are filtering properly, but that's not the truth for everyone. So we go through in the protocol preparing the body for elimination and then jumping into that cleanse and then what happens after that cleanse. And it's very important that you prepare the body because if you have clogged eliminary, whatever situations, even your skin, all of that waste is living in your body and cooking. And that's when you get really severe die-off symptoms. And I hear it all the time in all the parasite forums that I'm a part of. I had to stop my parasite cleanse because I was completely, demobilized, couldn't get out of bed. I mean, it can be very severe. And so you have to prepare the body. And also everyone's different, right? So your dosage might not be the same as the one on the back of the bottle. It may be more or it may be, in my case, less because I've shared before, my body responds very well to herbs and pretty much anything. It doesn't need that full dosage. So anyway, yeah.
I like to compare the idea of a parasite cleanse itself to something like running a marathon. So it's going to be, it's going to take a toll on your body. The toll it's going to take on your body depends on the preparation.
Yeah.
So, so for example, like with us, maybe you've got a natural runner that's just, hey, I can jog for a couple weeks and I'm ready to go run a marathon. Good for them.
Yeah.
Other people are like, well, I got to prep for 6 months to do this because it's just not something I do. So it's the same with a parasite cleanse itself. You're going to have the die-off. You're going to have all that stuff. How you respond is largely dictated by how you prepared. And so the protocol, most of the protocol is really that preparation phase. Yeah. Mentally, physically, emotionally, all the leads, like you like to say.
It is intense. And it's funny because when I walk people through this, what I tell them is, yes, you're going to feel off. You're going to feel sick. You're going to feel nauseous. The thing that's going to slap you in the face the most is the spiritual and the emotional and the stuff that comes up because parasites are attached to all of it. That's going to be the left field in my experience and in the experience of those that I've helped cleanse. That's been overall the biggest like feedback. I had no idea that I was going to deal with this emotional stuff. And parasite cleansing is not a one and done. That's the other thing. It's like, on these forums that I'm on, that I actively participate in with other people who have been, helping others walk through parasite cleansing for a long time. It's not, yay, I did my parasite cleanse and I'm all done. This is something that you do literally all of the time. We are always doing some form, literally, of parasite cleansing, whether it's through our nutrition, because we know that parasites don't like garlic. Parasites don't like diatomaceous earth. And last summer, I took that all summer long just to maintain, right? I mean, there's papaya seeds. There's so many things. Cilantro, that's the other thing. That's an anti-parasitic and also heavy metal. It helps cleanse the body of heavy metals, which is where parasites also like to burrow in those areas. So the protocol walks you through how to do a parasite cleanse and how to pivot when it gets too intense, or how to scale back, or how to do more, how to aid the body, and all of the preliminary things that we've talked about previously, how to prep the body to get ready to cleanse. All of that is in there. What's not in there is the actual cleanse itself, because I did not want to reinvent the wheel. There's so many good products out there, and we have some that we have used in the past. And quite honestly, every time we do a parasite cleanse, we kind of use a different brand to see how our body reacts to it, what we like the best. And so you can play with that. Here's what you're going to get when you start looking into parasite cleanses, or practitioners who have made a parasite cleanse. Theirs is always going to be the best. And they're always going to say that X, Y, and Z's sucks really bad because it doesn't have soursop in it, or it doesn't blah, blah, blah. And what I have found is that a lot of the times they all have the same ingredients, maybe in different calculations, right? But it's all pretty much the same.
And we talk about those things in the protocol.
We talk about all the things. Like, how many pages is the protocol?
I think it's 60.
Yeah. And that's just, there's a lot of information. So if this is something that you are interested in doing, then you can go to cjelevatedlife.com. The parasite protocol is on there. You can purchase it. And if you have questions, we've already had someone reach out that heard one of our old podcasts about parasite cleanses, purchase the protocol, and give us feedback about how they were feeling. In fact, we need to reach out to her. I want an update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Is there anything else that we want to chat about this?
Well,
you can tell us something's brewing in your brain.
I would just say, for me personally, the first time I did it, and we've talked about this on other podcasts, but just going back to touch on the emotional and spiritual and mental aspect of it, because the first time I did it, I was still a little like, oh, okay, I can buy the fact that it upsets your stomach or, messes with your GI tract or whatever, but it's really going to make me emotionally break down. And turns out it did. And so I would say, if you are on the fence with that, if you're, there's nothing wrong with being a little bit more hesitant or questioning or anything. The super cool thing about doing this parasite cleanse and following the protocol that we did is there's nothing super wacky about it. If you do it and you somehow don't feel any different or whatever, you've still just ate really clean for a few weeks and done all good things for your body. It's not like you got to go jump on one leg in the full moon with the other ankle in your hand.
But you can.
I mean, you can if you want, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's just the stuff in it is good for you no matter what.
Yeah.
And then just be open-minded and see what happens.
And you will pass parasites, for sure. You might not see them because you're not trained into what those actually look like. I think the most common thing that the two common worms that people have seen that I have walked through, whatever, you know what I'm saying, people, are pinworms and liver flukes. Liver flukes, hands down, I feel like everyone passes liver flukes. And, you know, if you have an inflamed liver, if you have fatty liver, if you have gallbladder issues, that's liver fluke. And so it would behoove you to do a parasite cleanse. It's just the facts, right? I wish everyone would parasite cleanse. It would be so just lovely for humanity. And I know that it's woo, and I know it also is scary. You know, there's a lot of people that haven't done it because there's so much fear in it. You know, they're scared of worms coming out of them. It's not an awesome thing. But then if you're just like, okay, it's better that it's out of me than in me. And I, of course, get really curious. I like to dig through my dew and be like, okay, what's coming out now? Because it's out of me, right? And that's a good thing. We don't want those things reproducing. And poor Clint, who's just like, Johnna, can you please not be that transparent?
No, that's
Please.
fine. I love it. We're our authentic selves.
Yes. And I like to just say it like it is. So anyway, again, if you want the cleanse, it's on cjelevatedlife.com. If you have any questions about parasite cleansing or whatever, you're curious, please reach out. Like, I heart talking about this. I really do. I could just talk about it nonstop. So I'm happy to ask or answer any questions or things like that. Did you ever take turpentine?
No.
Have you ever done that?
Nope, I have not.
Yeah, I took turpentine. And the reason, you guys, the sugar cube, so the sugar is the bait for the parasites, because parasites love sugar in all forms. That is their food source. And so when you drip that turpentine on there, it just attracts them all, and then they die. I've done it. It makes you feel very weird, and you can OD and die. There's like a specific way that you do it.
So again, this is not medical advice. Do not do that.
Yeah, don't do that. I did, however, mix it in castor oil, a couple of drops, and rub it on my feet. You know, to pull stuff out of my feet. That's an interesting story that we're not going to share. You can listen to the old podcast. I'm pretty sure I talked about my humming foot and then healed that through parasite cleansing. So
if you're curious about that, go on wherever you get your podcasts and go back through the archives and find that one. It's an old one.
Yeah.
No video. That's way before video.
Yeah. In fact, maybe I need to listen to that. That would be crazy. I think I told my mom's story in that too. But anyways, all right. Thank you for listening. Do a parasite cleanse and have a lovely day.
We'll talk to you soon.